Hey, I'm Michael with RenderCAD, and instead of telling you about all the cool and awesome updates, I'm going to show you live right here. So this is a model of a skateboard that my wife and I made a while back. It's got gull wing Sidewinder 2 trucks, some JMK ride wheels, and a custom deck that we made out of black walnut and maple. So let's get a good angle on this thing for a render. Something like that. And I've got the RenderCAD overlay tool here. And we'll just start a screen capture. We'll use 16:9 ratio so that it works well with the video editing. And this modeling software is Onshape. Okay, so we've got that render started, and let me go to the new RenderCAD website. So we've completely redone the entire site with a more debrand kind of brutalist marketing approach. And the pricing has been updated too. So I won't bore you too much about the pricing, except to say that we've greatly increased the number of renders that you can have per plan. So instead of, let's say, 20 or 25 ultra renders, we've added a new lower tier option for you. So you can have up to 150 standard renders a month instead of just 20. So this really lowers the barrier to entry for different users, because it turns out not everyone wants ultra 4K renders every time. You might just want some good looking renders and want more of them. So we've added that option. So let's head over to Render Studio, and our render is probably done now. Oh, render failed. Let's see if it actually failed. Let's go to our history. Oh no, it worked. Okay. It worked, and it doesn't look very good. I don't like it. So this is the standard model. So if we go to re-render, okay, so this is a perfect example. I'm actually glad it didn't look very good. So we're going to re-render this thing. So here's the initial picture we took. The overlay app automatically sent it to the history. So you have it there. You can hit the re-render button. And this is the new studio tab, the new studio page. So we've got dark mode up here. You can switch between dark mode or light mode depending on how you like to work. And we've got these new options. So here's the different engine options. You can use standard, which is what it currently used. It's the much cheaper option. You can get more renders out of it. Or you can switch it over to pro mode, which uses more tokens, but it does get more realistic results. So you can still get good things with standard mode. That's why we have it. But in some cases, like the skateboard, it was having a little bit of difficulty getting the complex geometry over to a good looking render. So we've got 4K versus HD now. We'll stick with HD in this example. And then here's a big one. We've got styling options. So you can tell it, try to stay as close as you want to the model, or you can tell it, okay, get a little creative. And I'll show a good example of that in a bit. But in this case, I want it to try to stay as close as possible to this model because I already know exactly how it needs to be machined. This is just going to be a nice product render. And then we've got a little advanced settings button here now. So you can choose the condition of the product, like you want clean, slight wear, heavily used. So let's choose some slight wear, and then you can choose the background, or you can keep it auto. So in this case, I want a white background. And there's even the option to add custom instructions. Let's say you didn't want to model carbon fiber in your product, but you want to describe that here, you could. I'll leave that alone for now. So, because the model already has what we want in it, it's probably going to assume that this is going to be some sort of a wood deck, and those are trucks, those are wheels, and so we'll let it assume the materials. So let's render it up, and it's going to queue it. It should take, with the pro mode, it should take about 30 seconds per render. I think standard mode is around 10 seconds, give or take. There it is. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Much better. You can already tell, hey, that actually looks like a wooden skateboard. Uh, cool. Now let's take that and we could re-render it again, uh, you know, customize our prompt a little bit, or let's take this and turn it into a video. So we got this video panel now. There's also a button here, a side toggle if you want to open it from there. And we'll select a camera preset. So let's give it a rotate 360. No, let's do just a slight orbit. We want it to just kind of orbit around this, and we'll make it 8 seconds long. And 720 is fine. I don't want to burn through. Oh, it's only one extra token. Okay, we can do 1080. And no prompt. We could stick one in there, but let's just see what this thing does with the default camera options. The video renders take around, I think, a minute or a minute and a half. So not too bad. While that's rendering, we can go check out the history. And I'll show you a good example of creative mode versus exact mode. So here is a bed that I modeled. So I modeled some pillows, a blanket, the base, and obviously I didn't want to spend 30 minutes getting the wrinkles on the blanket or fluffy pillows. So I just drew kind of some placeholders with the actual bed frame that I wanted. So this exact mode, it got some nice materials on there, but obviously I don't want pill-shaped pillows. And this doesn't really look like a bed. Kind of just looks like I don't know, a futon or something. So let's go to what creative mode looks like. So again, same model, it's just the creative mode was toggled. And it kept the general base shape, but then it recognized, hey, this is a bed. These are pillows. Let's fluff this thing up a bit. And it worked great. It kept the same wall positioning. The generic base shape, it did change that a little bit. It made that a little taller. And it's creative mode, so it's going to change things a little bit, but it will try to stick to your model and what you wanted. That's why we also have the advanced prompt. Let's go back to the studio page and see if that's done. Oh, it bumped it over to the history. Okay, the video's done. Let's play. Yeah, not bad. Okay, a little bit of warping there. As it started to rotate the video around, you can see that it warped this just a little bit. So we might need to try maybe a different angle. Maybe we could use part of it. Let's try that again. And this time we'll give it some more specific instructions. So let's go to this, turn it into a video. And we'll select slight orbit again. And this time we'll give it some more specific instructions. So orbit camera slightly back and forth. And we'll just do, let's say 10-degree max rotation. I don't know if it's going to actually follow this, but we'll see. And let's do 8 seconds, 720. And we'll just play around and see if we can get some better results. Okay, it's done. Let's check that out. That's more like it. Okay. That's actually almost exactly what I was wanting. So I wanted it to kind of slowly orbit around the product, nothing too crazy. Didn't really want a full 360, but that's just enough to say, hey, this is the actual product, and it gives it some 3D feel to it. Perfect to throw up there as a GIF on your product page. That's it for this update. I look forward to sharing more improvements in the future. Reach out if you have any questions. See you guys.